Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 5th episode of the Fruit Snack Attack podcast. Zach, what's today?
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Theme song.
This is a monumentous occasion.
We like talking.
We're really good at talking.
We're off the rails here.
Yeah, this is weird.
I'm also like a filthy casual.
How can I just piss that off?
Just like go live.
Yeah, we're live.
Welcome to the Fruit Snack Attack podcast, guys.
Are we on the internet?
Welcome back, guys, to the Fruit Snack Attack podcast, guys. Every fortnight, Zach.
Yeah, we're Fortnite streamers.
We're Fortnite streamers now. Every fortnight, we stream live here on Twitch and then upload this podcast to YouTube the week afterwards. So thank you guys for joining us here in the chat. Thank you guys for watching us on YouTube. We appreciate the support, the love. Twitch.tv/FruitSnackNowLive is where you're watching us live. Twitch or YouTube.com/FruitSnackAttack. Just search Fruit Snack Attack, and you'll find us.
I guarantee it.
There's like some other guy named like Fruit Snack Kyle. Get him out of here.
Fuck that dude.
Fuck that guy.
What a fucking Kyle.
There's some other guy. Wait. And then there's like some videos where kids eat fruit snacks and they call it Snack Attack, and just like get him out of here.
Dumb.
Kids
are stupid.
Kids are dumb. That's why we like to play video games. And
children's video games.
Yes, that's right. So, actually, and that, Zach, brings up my point for the night. We are not talking about children's video games. We're talking about electronic sports tonight. As you guys see
Digital athletics.
Me and Zach got our esports jerseys on. Actually, Zach's got the Tempo Storm shirt on. I actually got my personal, the gaming store that I do commentary for. I have my jersey on right now. So shout out One Life to Play. Our new store is opening up soon. Very excited. Do you have
legendary?
What does that say?
Become legendary?
Yeah, I guess we'll have to find that out. If I can become legendary. So, normally me and Zach bring two topics to the table to discuss, but we both really like esports right now. Actually, I think tonight is, honest to God, the perfect night to talk about esports.
Yeah.
Something just fell. Oh, no. Oh, well. I want my PC to blow up. That way, like, it forces me to get a new one. You know what I mean?
Hope it catches fire.
I kind of hope it does. But we're here, and yeah, as I said, we're gonna talk esports tonight, guys. So get ready. If this isn't the topic you're interested in, too bad. That's why it's hit or miss on what topics we're gonna talk about and what you're gonna be interested in. So Zach, I mean, where do we start?
Where do we start? Here's a good, interesting topic I kind of want to talk about is, do you think variance or RNG is a good thing?
I mean, we kind of talked about, I think we dipped into this last week. I think it's tough. I feel like you could almost say that random is just a part of anything competitive, even in actual sports. Like, you can kind of think
especially in a sport that's played outdoors.
Yeah, I mean, think about that just in general. I mean, for example, you're a Packers fan, you could have some real shit weather, and that random effect can change the entire planning of the game. Yeah. Like, if it ends up being like a 3 feet of snow, you're not passing the ball. You know what I mean? And like yes, you're ready for that. We're gonna talk about normal sports, but or baseball. They pretty much have to cancel the games if it's raining, which is insane, which is why some places I feel like need a dome more than others, like Cleveland. I can't believe Cleveland doesn't have a dome for that exact reason.
Cleveland's just buck wild. They don't give a shit.
Well, and then the baseball season's starting in March, so there's another potential for a snow out for the first game. That's nuts.
Fuck yeah.
That's silly. That's what I mean. So, I guess the fact that it's everywhere, I guess you kind of just have to deal with it. I'm sure you're probably talking about any sort of card games, like either Hearthstone or Magic. Right,
but I also think kind of in your realm is they added tripping to that one Smash game, which I know is extremely unpopular, but I don't know. I think it could make games potentially interesting.
Well, so tripping was like a really bad example for Brawl. It was just like a really bad time. Brawl just in general was bad for competitive games, just whatever. But there is still randomness in Smash. I mean, Mr. Game & Watch, a very popular character right now, he has a move that is a 1 through 9, and if he hits the 9, that's almost an instant kill move. See,
right,
Peach, the character I play, she randomly pulls turnips. Different turnips have different damage potential or dealt, I guess, or like you pull a Bomb or a Mr. Saturn, and those are different effects to the game. So yeah, I guess yeah, in certain ways it absolutely can add interesting. But I feel like I think the tripping one was just a little bit more hardcore than anybody was. I mean, we still did it. It was just we whined about it, but that's
that's just like RNG in a nutshell.
Yeah, exactly. That's art. Exactly. We're gonna whine about it, but we're still gonna play.
We're still gonna play.
That's the entire sport of any playing card, really.
Yeah, you draw 9 lands in your game against mono red. You're gonna bitch about it.
But guess what? You're about to quit that game and go right into another one. That's what it is. So RNG, yeah, that's just how it's going to be for RNG. But I almost want to talk about like my history with esports goes back forever.
Goes real deep.
I was always into like the idea of like tournament scenes, even before like making your own tournament. It really did kind of stem originally from Melee kind of getting popular in high school for me. That's when I discovered like a website called Smashboards where like they talked about competitive Melee and where you can go to these tournaments where like it's bring your own controller, bring your own TV, bring everything, and it's and then there was YouTube videos of these like tournaments where like all these names are getting brought up, and I'm like, this is so cool. Like the idea of like everyone coming together. Like that one was in like a big church. Like they rented out a church for the weekend.
A whole church.
Like a whole church. It was like a church school. You know what I mean? Like it has like the gymnasium and stuff like that.
So how far back do you go? Because like for example, I remember playing Halo 2 at an actual LAN. Like the internet. Like you didn't hook up to the internet. You brought some Xboxes and brought an Ethernet cable and hooked them up to each other.
So I would almost say around that same time, like the Halo 2, well, that would be Xbox. I mean, one of my favorite things that I always did one of my favorite high school memories, which is a different topic I will bring up, we'll do a podcast about that. I would do this thing with all my friends, because we all touted ourselves pretty good at all these varieties of games.
Right.
Where we did almost like, I don't call it King of the Hill, but just King of the Games. So what we did was 8 of us, or 8 to whoever was in it, right? A big group.
Right.
We all went to my house, and what we did was we put together 8 games. So we did Smash, Halo, Gears, NFL Street, Mortal Kombat, trying to think of I think we did like another sports game, Mario Kart. And then every game we made a single elimination 1-game bracket. And how well you did in that game got you points.
Oh, cool.
So like for example, 4 people got eliminated immediately, right? So I think like first through 4th place got points. So for example, our buddy Rob, he ended up winning the thing because he at least got points in almost every single game. He was making it to either the semifinals or the finals. Now he wasn't necessarily winning, but he was gathering points where he was still a good enough gamer that... It was fun because what we did is we randomly drew names out of a hat. So there was like one point where the 2 best Mortal Kombat guys, they played against each other.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Was this around the same time when you made that like rage video from your one buddy?
Yes. No, that was more... that was right at like the end of high school, beginning of college. Yeah. So like that's a good example of like getting really into LANs. Halo 2 time was like I didn't have an Xbox, so I would do, hey Matt, you want to go to this Halo LAN? Oh dude, that sounds sweet.
Yeah.
And then that's when you started hearing about, for me, like my first you want to talk about like production of esports? That was the MLG Halo 2, Halo 3 tournaments. Watching those and that wasn't streaming on Twitch. That was either Justin TV or
it's Justin TV,
even something even different than that.
Dude, back when Justin TV was like had 3 things on it. You had people doing podcasts like this, esports, and then just blatant copyright infringement, like 24-hour Gordon Ramsay kitchen nightmares nonstop until the stream gets banned. And then they would just fucking go for it.
And then the internet then didn't know what was going on, so they're like, wait, what is this website? What are they doing right now?
Yeah, you could just go watch The Simpsons for 12 hours, and there'd be a guy playing Simpsons episodes uninterrupted until the stream got banned. And then you just fire up a new stream.
It was a good time. Forget all these rules now. It's all
Back when the
caca.
internet was like a Wild West.
It was a Wild West, man. So, I guess from the MLG, then we found out that that's when Halo kind of got big, and that's when they started having like teams, Team Carbon, Team Final Boss, Team Triggers Down, Instinct. They sold jerseys. Players
FaZe.
had names. FaZe. Well, FaZe is even after all this. This is like original. So I would actually get friends to go down to Columbus because I had friends at Ohio State, and we would go to the MLG weekend, which was mainly Halo, but then eventually other games started getting in. Smash was in for a little bit. Mortal Kombat was in. Then I specifically remember the tournament. It was only a side stream, but it became the most popular game of the weekend. It was StarCraft.
Yeah, dude, StarCraft's huge.
And esports has always been around. Like, the history. I mean, you can go back. People would watch competitive Mario players. You know, what was the like Nintendo had the Nintendo World Cup or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
They always found ways to make gaming cool.
Like, yeah, and the kind of cool thing is like a lot of the like still hugely popular esports franchise are kind of like the OGs. Like a ton of like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. Like they would have like arcade tournaments where you showed up and like played on two machines to like compensate for this like 18-person tournament.
Right. Well, that's a good example too because it was like back for me it was Melee, so it was never an arcade thing, but you would hear about these arcades in New York where you would have a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 tournament, and it was just guys that would just go there, bring their fight sticks, and then just play all night. It was somewhere in like Chinatown because I always hear like players like Justin Wong. And
yeah, dude, Team Spooky, man. They're old as shit.
Oh yeah. So that's just there's so many examples of like just how old esports is. But so speaking of Marvel, there's actually a good example. One of my favorite tournaments of the year always is EVO. Me and my cousin Chris went to EVO. What would that be? 2 years ago? Yeah, we went 2 years ago. They announced for the EVO this year they're bringing since it's like the 20th year of EVO, they're bringing Marvel vs. Capcom 2 back.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Like so unfortunately I think that did take the spot of Mortal Kombat 11. But I think because NetherRealm or Warner Brothers like we're just gonna do our own tournament. Like
that makes sense.
Like thank you EVO for the help, but we're just gonna do our own thing because Warner Brothers got the money so they could put on
they can put on a huge tournament with prize support. But you know what EVO should do is I know it's usually tight, but they should still have some Mortal Kombat there. They should have like a retro tournament, like have an MK3 tournament.
I think they have like side tournaments. They run a bunch of side tournaments. It's just not like official.
Right.
Like they talk to EVO like, hey, we want to have a Mortal Kombat tournament. EVO goes, yeah, go in the corner. That's fine. Yes, they should do that. But the weird thing about the Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 2, it's almost like a invitational. I think they're only having like 8 or 10 or 12 players come. But it's just to show hype. They want to just get the best players. Let's get to immediately the hype. It's still a cool idea because Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is one of the main games that put EVO on the map, 100%. It will that's where you would see original clips before even YouTube of the Justin Wong comeback, the Daigo parry,
the literal best comeback of all time.
Right, the Daigo parry in I think that's Third Strike.
Yeah. So
I guess that could kind of get me on my next topic of what is your okay, if you're watching an esport, what's the game you're watching genre? Because there's pretty much esport genres of each game at this point.
Right. And to nobody's surprise, it's the card games.
Okay. To no surprise.
Just because, yeah.
And then
I still watch a lot of fighting games tournaments. I don't know. I feel like a lot less interested in the Mortal Kombat scene than I used to be, just because I feel like it's so top heavy. Who's gonna beat Sonic Fox at anything?
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just kind of boring.
You want that? So that's something I've learned, and that's what I'll get to in a second. But you'd say you never really watch any of the shooters?
Not really. I'm more interested in playing the shooters.
Than watching them.
Yeah.
See, I think that's where I also played. So I remember in like the Halo and Call of Duty days, I'm like, man, I'm just gonna make my own tournament. Like, let's just have a Call of Duty tournament. Obviously, it's kind of tough because you have to get 4, teams of 4.
Right.
Which, how does that add up? But I would try, or then, so that was the thing, right? Or beginning, there wasn't that good of internet.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of basement LANs. You're right, exactly. Connecting to each other on the Xboxes or even the PS2 for SOCOM. I remember doing that. Or just having like a Smash tournament or a Mario Kart tournament. You know what I mean? LANs usually would just turn into everybody would bring their system and whatever anybody wanted to play, we'd play. Right. It would always end in like a Mario Party or some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My friends would...
I used to play a shit ton of just Halo 3 custom match, like big team battle.
Yeah.
And just have like 50 people in a lobby just of like people from my high school. That was nuts.
Oh, that was so much fun.
I don't think there will ever be another social gaming experience like Halo was back when we were in high school.
No, because it was... So actually, I'm sorry, we're jumping around, but that's just two guys with ADDs. And,
yeah.
But it's back to that. Yeah, you're right. I remember having LANs in mine or Todd's basement of Halo. We would all get Chipotle. We got catered Chipotle, which I think I want to do that for my LAN. I'm having a birthday LAN. Which
you're not invited. I'm sorry.
Sorry, guys. I want to try like stream it almost. Certain things. But clearly we're having enough problems that who knows if that's actually going to happen. I think I at least want to record the Mario Kart just because I want to have that. Cause that's gonna be
for sure.
But that's an example. So like catered Chipotle, Halo, everyone would kind of make their own little teams for the night. And then Todd's dog got on the table and started eating everyone's burrito. And then my farts, my friends will bring this one up. My farts were so bad that I cleared out the basement at one point.
That's amazing. Was that after Chipotle?
It was an after Chipotle burrito stinky.
That'll happen.
Yeah, and but man, you couldn't be more right, man. That was the most fun you've had. And even if you couldn't do a LAN, just being online and having that lobby of different cliques, but everyone different cliques, but everyone came together. I remember I had a Smash tournament, and my friend Rob, I saw him taking a picture on like his old, like one of the old flip phones, right? And he's taking a picture, and I'm like, what's so funny to you? And it's a picture of like the king of the nerds is playing one of the like the jocks, and he's like, here we are at the same thing. The video games are bringing us together, man. It was such a
this is a wild time.
It was, man. It was so much, and that's why I've always kind of stuck with it. That's why I've loved that esports has blown up the way it has. Because we were early on it, and it's cool to see. It is still funny. I feel like a lot of these big productions, like, people are not seeing there's money in it, so they're trying to put their foot in it, but they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Right.
Like, there's, like, these tournaments, like, oh, even Nintendo at certain points, they're like, yeah, we're going to have the Nintendo Smash tournament. And everyone's like, cool, Nintendo's actually sponsoring a Smash tournament. They're like, items online, 4 players, and everyone's like, fuck, you almost had it.
It kind of goes back to what we were talking about a couple weeks ago, where, like, I feel like we're kind of moving away from this into trying to move into more corporate, like, actual sports thing. But, like, some of the best esports situations in general, I should say, just came out of the degeneracy of being a fucking gamer.
Oh, 100%.
Like, here's the thing. And I know it's not, like, great or PC, but, like, the best shit-talking of all gaming goes on during fighting game tournaments. Not when you're behind a screen. When you're sitting right next to somebody, these guys are talking serious shit. And that is the most entertaining streams I've ever watched.
Oh, 100%. And that's another example I want to get to is, like, certain games kind of let that go even more. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, you're right. That like grassroots FGC is the best because then not only that, but you have your homies behind you gassing you up.
Yeah.
And that's some of the funnest stuff to see is just guys just like getting each other. So I know like they're with some like shooters, like if you watch like Overwatch League, they're pretty friendly with each other. You know, the nice handshakes afterwards, good game. They got big games like League and Overwatch right now. They got the production value down. Call of Duty, it's great when Call of Duty would go into a like a listen in because you'd hear them like talk shit, which was great. Old Halo would do that. The Gears community, they let Gears players just go. And they'll do the interview between hand, and then he's like, "Well, he's a fucking pussy, so I'm just gonna kick. I'm gonna kick their and their whole team's ass. I am not fucking scared of Team Tempo Storm or whatever. I'm not. They're a bunch of pussies that can't fight us. And I'm like, yes, let's go. Let's keep this up. I kind of like that side. You know, I like the nice spectacle and the jersey is all great, but sometimes I want to see like a tournament in a game store and just guys just kind of just jawing at each other.
Right. And I know like some people don't like that because like, oh, you know, it doesn't create a friendly environment, but like, I don't know, it's entertaining, especially like it's not only talking shit and winning, but like people talking shit and losing is also equally entertaining.
Oh yeah,
Like there's a guy, I think he went by like low tier god
low
or
tier
something
god.
like that.
No. It's you know me as low tier god. That's what he would do. He had it he had his little thing.
Homie talked mad shit,
Yeah.
then got his shit pushed on stream.
That's the video we're talking about. We're talking about him versus Viscant, I think. And Viscant is this like he's got like the button up polo that's fucking
ultra nerd,
low tier gods like getting in his face, and he's this jacked dude like getting in his face like you're a little. And then Viscant, he comes in and he's like, I just remember, if you ever think about this game, there's gonna be a taste in your mouth, and that's a taste of my dick in your mouth. Like, holy shit!
Yeah,
this small ass little nerd dude just starts talking. That's the best. That's prime.
That's the best.
That's some of our favorite stuff. And we would do that with like our different cliques. Like one of the guys I'll always talk shit to Rob. Or my buddy Rob, I will always be a smack talker with him.
Right.
He's a good example. My other buddy Ponyman, I'll always talk smack with. My brothers, Joe, like there's definitely some guys because we know we can razz at each other.
Right, exactly.
And that's what makes it more fun. Actually, Zach's probably the guy I talk the shit most to when we play Mario Kart. Because I know I know we can razz at each other. It's great. So then, then esports is now, like, getting big. I know, I have friends that work for esports teams. You know, it's kind of crazy to see how it is. And I think that there's splashes of things that I'm liking from each game in their own way. Like, I like that Overwatch and Call of Duty now have, like, cities to represent. I like that because they're still owned by teams, so, like, I don't know if Tempo's got a team. I think, like, if you're an NRG fan, I know, like, NRG has an Overwatch team, and that's the San Francisco Shock. So, like, that's a good way to kind of combine your team. But then it's tough because I'm always in this staple of, like, I think it's because of normal sports. I'm like, no, fuck all New York teams, fuck all Chicago teams, fuck all LA teams. I don't like any of the big city teams. So then it's tough when, like, the Call of Duty team that I did like, they're now the Chicago Huntsmen. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, see, I think that's kind of the one thing esports is missing right now is kind of name recognition. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, everyone knows, like, Ninja, but, like, Ninja's not really competing in tournaments
anymore
like he used to.
Right.
Yeah. I just feel like it's not like, you know, people say Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers.
Right.
That means something.
Right.
But, like, ask any person, hey, name a professional esports player, and I guarantee you most people can't name a single person.
Right. Well, yeah, on, like, the big scale. Because I feel like the big scale... So Twitch is weird right now because Twitch... There's two sides of Twitch. There's the entertainment... Well, there's a bunch of sides. There's the entertainment side, which is what we would do.
Right.
Where we're... Or my cousin Chris or anybody... Most people are in the entertainment side. They're playing games. They're not necessarily good at games. They're just trying to entertain you while they play video games. Then there's the esports, which is cool now because they do have big, expensive cameras, talent. And it is fun to, you know, be a part of that as well, where, like, I do these commentary for these tournaments every Tuesday night. To have the multi-cam, to have the microphone, to have the interview, like, that's fun too, but it's, and it's tough because, you're right, people don't know who Pine is on the New York Excelsior, but they know who Ninja is. And Pine,
exactly.
Or the kid that won the Fortnite tournament, Booga.
Mm-hmm.
People know Ninja, they don't know Booga, and Booga was the most talented Fortnite player at that. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. There's a weird one, or like Tim the Tatman, or any of these top personalities. Right now Twitch is more on the personality base than the esports base, but I think that's kind of the beauty of it too. You can pick what you want to watch.
Yeah, definitely.
For me, I really do dip into everything. Like, obviously, all the FGC I love. Going to EVO was one of the coolest things, to sit and watch video games in an arena and cheer with everybody.
Do you watch any, like, the MOBAs?
So I was back. That was a good question, Zach. That's a good question. When I played League in college with Oliver and Roman and our our buddies from home, Joe and Rob and stuff like that, I was definitely a little bit more into the league tournaments. And that was early. That was grassroots. That was like season 2 then. I was cheering for Team Curse. I don't know. I mean, I was terrible at league. It was kind of fun to watch. I mean, no, definitely not now. I don't really watch it now, but it's as big as ever for them. They're selling out, like, not just arenas. They're selling out stadiums.
Yeah, same with CSGO.
Exactly. CSGO, I almost feel like CSGO is bigger in other countries. I feel like CSGO is like the European game.
And the same goes for StarCraft. StarCraft is huge in
Korea.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, StarCraft was fun to see because I watched that come and go. Like, it was hot in the States for a while, and then it went. That's where Day 9 got his roots.
Yeah. I
mean, he's big in the Magic community right now, right?
Yeah, he's but again, he's more of the personality side.
Bingo, right? Yep. So he that's just a good example of, like, and that's kind of cool to see. It's fun to see talent jump from game to game. There's Golden Boy. Golden Boy is a commentator for every game. It's insane. That's talent, man. The fact that you can cover that much game and be that much of a good voice and eye man, that's talent.
It's like Brian Kibler got his start playing Magic the Gathering, switched over to playing Hearthstone, and then now he still plays Hearthstone on stream, but he's a commentator now for Magic.
Oh, he is?
Magic the Gathering now. Yeah,
it's a smart move. That's a smart retirement move. If you have a good enough personality when you were a pro player, become a commentator.
Well, it's actually a funny story about him too. Is I guess his entire professional Magic career, he wanted to be a host for the Magic tournaments and be like a shoutcaster, and Wizards wouldn't let him. Yeah, and they would
him as like a player.
I don't know, but once Hearthstone kind of started getting a little traction, and Kibler started getting into it, he's like, "Hey, I would love to be a commentator. I've been trying to be a commentator for a while." And they're like, "Yeah," and he made Hearthstone even bigger. So I think when Wizards had the opportunity to take him back, they did.
Smart move for Wizards. I'd say I'd say when it came to like watching esports, I got started with the shooters. Halo will forever be one of my favorites. I had a Team Carbon hat. I really, it was so funny because I feel like every team, this is just the Matt White curse. Every team I cheer for in anything competitive, sports, gaming, even a paintball, I'll choose a paintball team I like. You know what I mean? Anything. Mm-hmm. That team always ends up being trash. Always. It's insane. The Overwatch League, I'm like, cool. I'm going to be a fan of the Dallas Fuel. I hear they're supposed to be pretty good. Season 1, trash. Everyone's like, how is the Dallas Fuel this bad? They were supposed to be one of the best teams. I'm like, because I'm cheering for them. Team Carbon, I started cheering for them right after they won the MLG finals. Became trash after that. I'm like, fuck me, man. Yeah. So I just have this curse. I curse all teams. All Cleveland teams. I mean, Browns are terrible. Cavs are terrible.
To be fair, I don't think you can blame you liking the Browns as the reason they suck.
But what if I stop cheering for them? What if I start cheering for the Packers? And then they start
cheering for the Ravens. Fuck those guys.
No, well, hey, good point, actually. That's a good idea. I'll cheer for the Ravens. I'm the world's biggest Las Vegas Raiders fan.
You could be like that, douchebag hipster guy. It's like, well, the Ravens were technically the Browns.
We had a friend in college that did that, and we hated.
I hate those people.
he got annoying because the Ravens won the Super Bowl that one year, and he was not happy about it. And we're like, that's not that. No, I get what you're saying, but it's not us. Sorry, dude.
Exactly.
Oh, it's starting to come down up there. We got a little bit of a weather.
What's going on? Snow or rain?
Both.
That's Ohio for you.
Sleet.
Yeah. Glad I don't have to drive to work tomorrow.
Yeah. So a good example. So then back in the day before Twitch, it was watching Justin TV, and I remember there was this one day. This is all again. I can go forever because Smash is always going to be my grassroots because it was grassroots. It was going to somebody's house or a place to bring your own controller. I hosted many tournaments throughout high school with Melee. My basement, me and my friends, we rented a church one time, friend's house, all this stuff, and that was so much the funnest times because it was different schools going there. Then you could bring your best. We did crew battles.
The Halo 2 tournament I talked about earlier, that was like a plug and play LAN. That was at a church. It's weird. Like a lot of LANs happen at churches. But
it makes sense though because it's just a big open room and they have nothing else to do with it. You got all the power and electricity you need. You just need a big room Churches
We
had
also
those.
played dodgeball because they had a
Yes,
gym.
yes. That's where I have that carpet ball. That's where carpet ball. I found out about carpet ball was from a Smash tournament. Like, this thing's cool. Let's build it. I remember like there was this rich family with one of their this one player had a rich family in Halo, and they started doing their own streaming service called the LAN Network, and they would stream. What they would do is before tournaments, they would have all the top teams come and stay at the house, and they would stream all weekend all their scrimmaging. And that was so cool to watch because back then I paid $10 to watch the LAN Network for that weekend, and they had the lounge or not the lounge, they had the basement cam where you could see everybody. And to me that sounded like so much fun going with your team and spending it at a house for the weekend, and then you would watch YouTube videos of them like at the LAN and just everyone having a good time, and that's early sponsorships. We're sponsored by Hot Pockets. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You'd see, it's literally like it'd be like imagine like two lawn tables stacked against each other, each fitting 3 computers.
Yep.
So you have 6 people lined up against each other, like a stack of pizza boxes, 4 cases of Mountain Dew, and they're just going in. Nobody's talking to each other, just like
fuck.
Yeah.
Get the fucking flag.
I think it became apparent very early that like, hey, we need commentators because like when people are concentrating on games, they're not really talking other than screaming profanities at each other.
Well, now like it is funny if you ever watch like a team game and they do go into team comms because they're talking so much that you can't pick anything out. How do they pick out what the actual call out is? It's insane.
Right.
So it is. So now like I am excited to see where we are. To see how big League of Legends is. To see how big. This is a good example. Just this weekend alone, we have the Overwatch League starting, the second or third week of the LCS, the second or third week of the Call of Duty. Evo just had its esports lineup. There's so much like it's so much to take in. I guess I want to free up some storage space. This is great. Well, I guess. Well, luckily we got the VODs at least.
Yeah.
If I run out of space, but I'll have to clean that up afterwards.
What I think is really cool too about esports is like, I feel like the barrier to entry as a player. And I'm not trying to discount like the experience; it's still hard as shit.
Oh god,
like,
you guys
compared to like a real sport, like, I mean, if you put your nose to the grindstone and like get really good at Overwatch and say you become like a top, 25 grandmaster player, which is extremely hard, but like you can do it.
Right. No, you can't.
It's not like you're gonna. That's like a minor achievement. Unlike, you could be a top 25 high school quarterback and make it into college, and that's kind of it,
Oh, absolutely. That's so like cool to do because it gives us things that we're interested in. It gives us chances to cheer for something. It is kind of, you and I are in a rare example where like we like all competitive things. Not all competitive. We're into sports and we're into this. But I know a lot of kids that are like, I'm not into sports, but I will. I do love watching League of Legends esports or any of that kind of stuff. So that's always it's so nice to like be in a world where all that's so accessible now. Like Twitch is a big deal. Back in my day, we didn't have this kind of stuff. You just had to watch old word of mouth YouTube videos. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. I remember like I used to find out about like broadcast tournaments via Twitter, and like you had to know who to follow to figure out like when these tournaments were going live. It was half the struggle was figuring out where the stream was.
Oh, big time.
I remember missing half a Mortal Kombat tournament just because I couldn't get the stream.
Right.
Like I was like going through all these tweets. They're like, "Oh yeah, we're live now." Not tweeting a link. I'm like, "Great."
Can't find it. It truly is a great time. So then and we're getting choppy again, but we're gonna keep rolling. Trying to think. So like in college, that's when like League of Legends was big. Actual college was tough for me because that's when the games I was interested in weren't that big.
Yeah, well, see, in college, to me, I stopped watching a lot of esports stuff and started getting more to speedruns. just because those were a lot more accessible. I mean, literally any time of night or day, every day of the week, there was a popular speedrunner playing a popular game that they're known
Right.
for.
Right.
It's kind of like the height of speedrunning, now that I think about it.
Mhm.
Like
And I
right
think we were
before
all
the
into-
first AGDQ and all that
I'm
stuff.
surprised we didn't watch a GDQ because you're right. Cause I think the GDQ started right when we were getting done.
Yeah.
But so then so like college for me was like Brawl was out, so I wasn't really into Smash. Halo like 4 was out, and that wasn't that good. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 was out, that wasn't that good. Man, college was like the worst time for games. Actually,
There wasn't, because like I don't think
games that I liked.
there were no new Mortal Kombat either. When we in college, I think
9.
Mortal Kombat 9 came out when my senior year of high school. So by the time we were in college, it kind of
right.
is. It's a little old.
You're right, because
People still played it, but like the meta was pretty solved.
You're 100% right. And then I'm trying to think even more in college. And then like for the Nintendo system, the Wii was out then. So like only thing we were playing with the Wii was like Wii Sports. So we were never able to really LAN because not everyone had an Xbox.
The Wii U came out about our second year into college, and there's no games. There's no games.
Where's the games? There's not got good games. More like shove it up your own ass. Sorry, we're Chad Ward.
I remember when we were talking about speedrunning, when Wind Waker HD came out shortly after the Wii U came out, and Cosmo was the biggest Wind Waker speedrun at the time, and like he had 10,000 people watching him download the game. Like it was that hype.
It was. It was. It's so true, man. It's kind of insane to like think, or like, and that's another good example. Just because again, my ADD is all over the place. Well, that was a crazy thing about speedrun. I mean, speedrunning is another good example. A lot of personalities, but I feel like at least with speedrunning, the personalities were also the good runners as well in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Speedrunning was a good example where people actually did kind of. Well, there was that guy that was really good at 64 Mario, Siglemic. He never showed his face, and he didn't even really talk in his stream either. He was just a quiet, good runner, and it was a big deal when he showed up for a GDQ because that was like, this will be the first time we ever see Siglemic's face. This is big. And he's just, and that's the beauty thing about the GDQs. You have a commentary couch.
Well, I think that's kind of the cool thing about just the speedrunning format is like you don't have to have as much as an entertaining personality, but like your in-game prowess is extremely important.
Yes.
Like a mediocre speedrunners don't get that popular.
I would say the only one, but he was also one of the best, was Trihex. Trihex is probably the best personality to come out of speedrunning.
Right.
He was the best at
Yoshi's Island.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or Super Mario, whatever it's called. Yeah. He was the best at that. But from that, it has stemmed into him being just like a good personality.
Just a streamer,
just a streamer.
I don't think he really does speedruns anymore.
Right. And even if he does, it's still like very specific. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like he'll get it. I always remember. It's so funny when you watch speedrunners. I always like when they're like, "Yeah, this game is terribly designed." I'm like, "Well, y'all, I'm sure they just didn't have the intentions of you finding this one specific wall that has one pixel for you to open your way. It's not bad game design. You guys are just a bunch of nerds."
you can't. It's impossible in a year period of time to test your game to the point that it's flawless.
Right.
It's just impossible.
Right. And like, you watch some of these speedruns, like you honestly think that when they designed Wind Waker the first time, like, all right, well, we need to really be worried about if a guy like gets hit by a bomb by his own self, but he also plugs in the Game Boy Advance plug-in, where he then switches an item from the Game Boy Advance, and he starts like mashing A, that Link's gonna float or whatever. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
No, they didn't have to worry about that because they didn't think anyone was gonna do that. So I always laugh when some speedrunners like call games out for that.
Yeah, I just when anybody uses a speedrun as an example of bad game design, it's like I discredit that immediately.
Right.
Like I know Aaron from Game Grumps, they're like, oh, he's talking about a Sonic game. He's like, have you ever seen a speedrun of this game? It's so terrible. It's so broken. The game's so bad. It's like that all speedruns are extremely broken.
Right.
It's a terrible bar to judge.
That's its entire point of a speedrun.
You're judging it by somebody intentionally breaking the game.
Bingo. It's like you can't. I get what you're trying to say, but it ain't working, Chief.
Yeah.
And that's why like some of those old games are competitive games. Melee is a good example because there was a gap. Even Halo 2, right? There was a gap. You could be good, but you could be great if you started learning these minute details. The BXR, the RXYYRX, you know what I mean? If you started learning how to do these double shots, you'd be able to kill a guy twice as fast. And you needed that when you got to the competitive level. And that was back then when they didn't have patches on a weekly basis. Where if there was a problem, they would patch it out immediately. I remember when Modern Warfare 2 was out, there were so many glitches when that game initially came out.
That was bad. Do you remember when shotguns were really broken in Gears 2, I think it was?
Yeah.
It was either Gears 1 or Gears 2. Those shotguns were busted.
I think it was Gears 1. And Gears was weird because you also had like host. So the host, the guy who's like the game was running, like the server was running off of, had an advantage. Straight up.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had a friend in high school, so one of my buddies, Brown Bear, him and I, we were the guys that would win the teams tournaments in Smash. Like, he was my homie. He was so good at Gears. He made it in, like, an OG Gears montage, right? But he had to make such a distinct, extensive description on what he was doing. So he's like, if I'm ever playing Carmine, that means I'm host. If I'm ever playing General Ram, that means I'm host. If I'm ever playing Marcus Phoenix, that means I'm not host, but I'm connected to, you know what I mean? It's just like, you shouldn't have to explain yourself that much. But you did because you would do a sig montage to go, and the comment section would be like, I could do that if I had host too. Like, that's how, that's how much important it was.
Do you remember what got you originally into just, not even like MLG specifically, but just into the transition of games are just kind of fun thing I do to like, oh shit, games can be really cool competitively? Because I actually think I remember specifically.
Go ahead.
It was back in the day of G4.
Yeah.
They'd have like little 30-minute bumpers between like episodes of stuff, and one of them was for SXX Tricky.
Okay.
And this guy was talking about getting like the world record for a level. Back when he had to record it on VHS and like submit it. I just remember watching his run. I forget what it was specifically, but just it was mind blowing. It was so good. It was so clean. I was like, holy shit! Like, I don't play SXX Tricky on a regular basis, but I kind of want to right now.
Yeah, that's a great example. G4 in its own could be a whole episode of the podcast. Yeah, I remember G4. They had a show called Arena, and even that's I've always known. Like, I've always seen the difference of like a company like G4. Like, oh, we're gonna make a gaming show for competitive gaming, and then they just don't do it right. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, and then they have too many personality, like they have just personalities and not actual good gamers, and they're like, we're gonna have them play. What was that one game? It was called. I'm blanking. I'm just bad example. But I'm like, you kind of have it, but you really don't. These are just people, and you're just having them play games. They're not like the best at the games.
Yeah,
I would say it would be either Halo or Smash. I always bring them up, but for Smash, the Smash discovery is so cool because I found this forum called Smashboards, and then that's when people would post YouTube videos of tournaments, and I'm like, oh my god, there's like, these guys are on a different level, and they are just doing so much more, and it was fun. I remember I would go there. I remember my buddy Joe, he could not be my ice climber, so he went to the forum and asked how to be how to beat ice climbers. And then I just remember people would upload videos. There was this one guy, he was called MLG Bosch or Bach or something like that, and he would make montages of going to these tournaments in Virginia, and it would be him behind the monitor. You see the people's shoulders, and there he is just videoing the monitor, and that's how you would watch. Oh, they had old capture devices. The one I watched, great example. It was a crew battle, East Coast versus West Coast Smash tournament, right? 10 on 10, and the East Coast was nothing but a bunch of shit talkers. They're getting in the West Coast face. They were getting, the one guy's Jigglypuff, got a kill within 8 seconds or something like that. Everyone's getting so hyped. I'm just like, this is cool. I've never seen something like this. And then Halo was one of the first ones where they're like, we have production value behind it. That's what it was. Zach, I have your answer. An old MLG tournament got broadcasted on G4. A Halo 2 tournament. And I'm like, oh my god, competitive Halo. They have the commentators, they have... I don't even know if I had Halo at that time. But I'm like, cool, a game that's team-based with team names, team jerseys. Because I've always liked sports, but I've always knew that gaming can be that way. I would always try to make gaming competitive my own way with old Mario Kart. Even Mario Kart 64. Let's have a Mario Kart tournament. I'll give another good example. Go ahead. I feel like you have something you were going to say.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I agree with what you said. I think teams are incredibly important. One of my favorite modes to play in Halo 3 was duos.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, duos were the shit, man.
Yeah.
Just you and a buddy going against a bunch of other teams.
Right. And then you're on, like, lockout, and you're just trying to, like, everyone get to the sword. And you know the sword was going to be a big fight. And then if you didn't, you went for the shotgun. The sniper was on the one tower. And you knew who was good. Zach, you got to go get the sniper. I'm going for the shotgun.
Yeah, exactly.
You knew who was good at their positions. Another good example of just to show, like, when I knew, like, to show, like, how much I love kind of just being competitive in gaming. It was a Thanksgiving at my aunt's house. And I brought over the GameCube, and we were all playing Soul Calibur 2.
Ooh.
So it started with just me and my brothers playing. Next thing I know, all the uncles and cousins started coming up. What's this? That's a fighting game. Just pretty simple. And then, we're just mashing at that point. Uh-oh. Did I lose Zach? Uh-oh. Hey, guys, it's just me. What happened? What happened? Oh, no.
My Discord just like, crashed and reset.
You're just a voice right now.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Okay.
We're coming back.
I should be
back.
Sorry, my like I literally watched it happen. My Discord just closed and reopened. I'm like, all right.
I was having so many computer problems. I'm like, what? What just broke? Next thing I know,
there we go.
There's like 10 to 15 dudes upstairs, and we're all playing past the controller on Soul Calibur. My dad's playing Raphael. All he's doing is mashing Y, but he's whooping ass. And everyone's getting pissed. Stop pressing the Y button!
Pop away to button masher.
Oh, yeah. Hey, man, just get good. Hey, it's working. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Stop mashing the Y button! And then, we would just pass, and little Adam was good. Adam was really good with Link, but we could play with different items. So he played with the hammer, and his hammer would just kill you in 3 hits. Justin would play as Nightmare, and he had the Nightmare sword that was like bigger. I mean, it's already big, but it was like
who'd you play as? Ivy?
That's a different topic. No, if you want to talk, my biggest crush in that game was Cassandra. Something about Cassandra
easy, yeah.
and there was a girl in that game. We're a side topic right now. There was a girl in that game. Taki. Taki wore really a skin-tight ninja costume, and they modeled her nipples. And boy, as a kid in middle school, that was
absolutely
good for them. Yeah. So Soul Calibur, I played Killick, by the way. Still a Killick main. Love Killick. Killick's one of my favorite characters just ever in a game. That long reach, so much fun.
Are you more of like a mid zoner kind of?
See, I played Killick Rushdown though. Like I know you probably should have played him as a zoner because of his stat, but I enjoyed having it. The best was I'm gonna call it Denny right now. Me and Denny, we played Soul Calibur 5 or 4 or whatever online. I remember he played Maxi. Max got the nunchucks, and I'm Killick. I'm like, this is set. Why do I ever have to step foot in? Sure enough, there I am. I'm just poke. That's what's throughout our years of gaming has taught us how to play, the ability to adapt on the fly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to read that situation. I got this long sword or this long bow staff. He's got nunchucks. I'm not going in. There's no reason for me to poke.
It's kind of surprising too. Just like you said, not even be able to adapt on the fly, but just kind of learning what your strengths are in a competitive environment, just in general. Like for me, it worked in Magic because before we started playing Magic and I was into fighting games, I was always the aggressive person. I want to get in your face and start making you not have time to think.
Right. But Magic,
I'm just really good at doing that.
And then Magic was able to kind of teach you patience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I started out playing mono red. I was always like, I'm gonna throw a bunch of creatures on the board and make you have it, you know.
And that's the thing. So if you want to talk about what your play style is, so for me, I've never been the best in any of these shooter games that I love so much. I've never been your Slayer. I've never been your high kill count. I've always been your support. And I love it because I think I was able to know and learn. I'm never going to be your guy that's clicking heads. I'm never going to be your guy that's getting the most kills, but I'll be your guy that's helping my teammates set up. That's why I love playing support in Overwatch. That's why I play objective in Halo and Gears, or Halo and Call of Duty. Because I know I'm like, hey, I'm trying to win. You need me to go get that flag? I'll get that flag for you. I'll make sure I get that flag. I'm happy to be a part of friends in anything where I know I can find my role, I guess.
Right. See, I think back in the shooters, I still am, is I've always been running gun. I have high kill count, high death count. I'm going to go in, I'm going to rush in, kill 3 people, and die immediately.
That's fine. Which is why Overwatch is one of my favorite games. I like that they are really kind of... Because that's why I liked League at the beginning. I like the idea of League. I understand why it's popular, because you're able to kind of really fit into your role. But boy, like we always talk about, another topic of esports is communities. Who's a toxic community and who's not. I've been a part of a lot of communities. I've been a part of the Call of Duty community. You want to talk about some of the biggest shit talkers on the planet. I've never met a more toxic community than League of Legends.
Absolutely not. The worst.
I remember having even in my friends, yes, they would never say they were, but I remember having friends like cuss you out because you didn't do something, and then I'm like, hey, come play with my friend. Okay, I'll play with your friend, and that new person I've never met before is chewing me out like I just killed his mother.
And it's especially frustrating because the learning curve on League of Legends is steep as hell. Yep.
Bingo. That was my big... I don't think I ever got to level 30. I think to level 30 is when you could start playing ranked. I never got there because I was getting reamed so much.
Same situation. Yeah. I enjoyed the couple games of League we were starting to play. Oliver kind of got me into, but yeah, man, it kind of sucked having everybody complain at me that I'm not doing something right, and I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I remember I had a guy I've never he's in we're in like Skype at the time. Never met him before. I only played, and I didn't tank the dragon, and he starts flipping out on me, and I logged out. I'm like, I don't know you. You don't have the right to just chew me up. And then my buddy Rob texted me. He's like, sorry about that. I'm like, no, fuck. This isn't acceptable.
Exactly.
How was I supposed to be... You're like, you know what? You're right, man. Let's get in the next game. Sorry I didn't tank that dragon. I guess I just didn't have tough skin. No, and I do have tough skin. Again, I've been... How many people have fucked my mom, according to Call of Duty? Matt White out of context.
I think League's just so different because, like, there's a difference between shit-talking your opponent and shit-talking your teammates.
Yes.
And you're not even just shit-talking your teammates. You're shit-talking your teammates that legitimately don't know how to play the game.
Yep.
Imagine complaining at somebody in a game of chess because they moved the wrong piece. They just didn't know that they can move the piece a different way.
No, you're absolutely right. Or you're being like mad at somebody on their second day on the job.
Exactly. Like legitimately mad. Like not talking like, hey, you need to do better. Like I'm talking like full on rage mad.
Yeah. And that was an example of that Call of Duty. There were times in that Call of Duty where I'm like, I can't do this. Or not Call of Duty, League of Legends. So, I don't know. I mean, we could talk. I could go on for another hour of just how much. And that's what I like now that there's like apparel and the esports jerseys and personalities and you get your name on the back.
Right.
It's just
so cool.
It's so cool to be a part of this culture, and I'm so happy to see it grow. Yeah, I want to be part. I would love to work for a esports team.
Right.
But it has to be like worth it. Like I can't. I'm in a tough situation where like I want to work, but I also can't start from the ground up. I'm a little too far past that in my life.
And like the kind of thing that sucks is like we're not the youngest anymore, which is bizarre to say because we're relatively speaking extremely young still.
Yes.
But like you said, like I can't afford to take like a $10,000 a year part-time video editing job for a esports team.
I can't.
It's not worth my time.
No,
I don't have the free time, and if I did, it's not worth the extra money.
Right. That's why for us, that's why we like streaming once a week. This once a week thing is a miracle right now that we are able to, that we've kind of pulled this together. But it's just because we were like, hey, you know what? At least it's a hobby at this point. Right. We can do it as a hobby. We can't do it as a job. I would like to do it as a job, but I can't. can't.
Yeah, if it paid enough, I'd gladly do this full time.
Yeah, but yeah, right.
I'd stream every night.
Yeah. But so that's actually another good topic. The stream grind to stay consistent on these platforms now is almost insane. Yes,
it's absolutely insane.
Obviously, when you tell the person from the outside, yeah, it's tough to game for 8 hours.
Yeah.
If you kind of think about it, I'll give Dr. Disrespect an example of this. That dude is a character for over 8 hours a day. Yes, his character can kind of blend a little bit from time to time, but he still has to keep on a personality for 8 hours and like just play. I don't know, man. I don't know if I've ever very rarely, even back then, did I ever play a game for 8 hours.
Yeah. Shout out to owner of Team Tempo Storm. Raynad, he this is something he talked about a lot back in the day when he was streaming. It's such a absurdist argument to say, oh, it must be tough be getting paid full time to play video games. It's like, as a streamer, you spend your first half of the day, like as a professional big streamer, you spend your first half of the day reading business emails, stream prep, then you have to go online, be entertaining for 8 to 12 hours.
Right.
Most of the time it's 12 to 14 because that's just the grind.
Yeah.
And be good at whatever you're playing.
Right.
And then on top of that, have to be a video editor.
Yeah.
Because this was before people had teams of editors. You had to be able to Photoshop your own stream layouts, figure out OBS. Like
you're at a 20-hour day already. That's 20 hours.
Exactly.
That's
20
insane.
hours a day to maybe get paid. Like, especially when they're starting out, maybe get like $50. Imagine working 20 hours and getting paid $50.
That's insane.
It's
And how do you know that that's worth it? I mean, and that's why you gotta stay consistent, because eventually it does get worth it to some of these guys. You look at some of that guy, that Optic Hex. You look at Nate Shot, for example. Those guys stayed consistent on their grind of uploading, and now they. But it's a small market, or not a small market. It's a small margin of victory.
Exactly.
You have to work so hard to make it to become one of these guys, and it's such a flooded market now that's why Fruit Snag Attack is we obviously can promote too, but we're two guys. But how many Let's Play channels are out there?
Exactly.
It's insane. And yes, okay. Our one buddy said, like, well, maybe it's because of your name. It doesn't matter on the name at this point. It's just a flooded market. We still brand it correctly. We still upload it correctly. We do all the things that YouTube wants us to do. But it's just so flooded. You got to hit gold at this point.
Yeah.
You got to hit oil to make it through.
That's the thing. Like, it's not even streaming. It's just becoming an entertainer. Like,
oh yeah.
Like Bo Burnham, one of my favorite comedians, he said, I got extremely lucky. I would never tell somebody you should, just give it your all and become an online content creator. That's like a Mega Millions winner telling you to invest all your money in the lottery because it works.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. I remember there was an article about a guy that dropped everything, quit his job, broke up with his girlfriend, did everything he was supposed to do to become a Twitch streamer. And he probably contacted Twitch, be like, "Can you just put me on the front page one day?" And it never happened. Like, you really just kind of have to hit gold almost. That's why, honest to God, I will give Ninja credit. That kid was streaming back in the Justin TV days. The kid, his whole career has been a streamer, his whole life. He was good at Halo Reach, which got him enough of a name to have somewhat of a Twitch following by the time he got to Twitch. And then he was just a good enough Fortnite player with a good enough personality where that game was blowing up that all the stars aligned for him to become this monumental thing. But you're right.
Right.
He's not the best. He's not even... But I'll give him credit that he grinded his way to this. Because I remember seeing videos of him with the laptop on the folding chair next to his PC, streaming his own Halo Reach match at the LAN network. And then...
You want to talk about shit talkers? Our anti-bullying friend Ninja talked some fucking shit back in the day.
He did. And so that was another example too. They talk about that. Oh, dude, he was one of the best ones too. Hearing him shit talk was honestly great.
It was the best.
His that when everyone wants to use that like clip of him or whatever like that, it's like, look, man, he's getting paid millions. If you told me you're gonna give me millions of dollars to maybe not bully,
I love that clip because it's edited very well.
Yes.
Like, but like I would never actually hold that against Ninja. Being a gamer back in 2010, the cultural zeitgeist was a lot different.
Oh yeah.
There's a certain homophobic slur nowadays that people would never use that was extremely common vernacular, and we did not mean it as a slur when we said it. It was
Just shit.
just a word that you said.
It was just the word and you were just talking shit. Yeah, again. Yeah,
That's all it was.
Yeah. Exactly. Nobody ever. I hope.
I would never want to be judged by the shit talking I did in 2010.
Of course.
And I would not.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. That's not about it. I'm gonna talk shit though. Man, when you'd get into a Halo lobby after a match, or a Gears lobby, or any of these lobbies, Call of Duty. We one time with all my friends, we went on a 60+ game win streak one night because we all went to Sabotage. We all just played SMGs, Marathon, Super Sprint, whatever you want to call it, and we would just run Plant the Bomb because you knew Sabotage lobbies, kids were trying to just rack up their kills.
Yeah.
And avoid between lobbies. You piece of shit! You think you're so good? Yeah. Well, guess what? Yeah, I banged your mom. People. You know what I mean? It was so good. And now, now everybody's just in their Discord with their friends. They're not talking to their opponent weekly.
Yeah. I think like looking back, like the invention of parties and Xbox was the thing that killed the social experience of Halo.
That's a good point.
It was still fun. I still played the shit out of it with all my high school friends, and like you said, people you'd never imagine playing video games with socially in high school you were playing with. But like when Halo 3 first came out, Xbox Live parties didn't exist. You had to just chat with the people in your lobby. And I made an ass ton of friends just doing it.
Yep.
You'd just be like just talking to a dude, and you'd end up like playing with him 6 games in a row next time. Next thing you know, they're adding you as a friend, and
you see the friend.
2 weeks later, hey man, I got a party going. You want to come in? Yeah, sure.
That's a great example.
Party.
Yeah. Just the other day, I played with some friends the new Call of Duty. This new Call of Duty, we had the cross-platform. So the only way I could talk to our friend on the PlayStation is you can only play with the game chat, which means you do have to hear your opponents. And all my friends, these old curmudgeons, I gotta hear these guys. I want to hear these little kids talking. So they're like mad that they're not in the Xbox Live party.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you guys used to be the biggest like shit talkers. And now you're like, I can't be inconvenienced with these other people in the lobby.
I feel like back then too, you had a lot less of like 9-year-olds. I guess it was a lot more just like high school age kids.
Because back then, that was when Xbox Live was starting, so it wasn't like as accessible to own a system. I guess that's a good way to put it. Because
not only own a system, but own a game on release.
With Xbox Live,
with Xbox
or
Live.
PlayStation Live, or whatever it's called. So it was a lot more adult, I guess.
Halo 3 was the first midnight I went to.
I always talk about that one. I went to the midnight release with my friends, and our buddy Denny wanted us to play the single player. Not 4-player co-op. He just wanted to play single player.
Yeah, that's a great memory, man. I was like one of the first, like a handful of people to get the game. Like I was one of the first like group that got in the store, and like. Back then, man, you had a line out the door around the block. People were cheering for you, having the game in hand, and like that was good times.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude, going out with the Halo 3 copy in your hand. Let's go, with honking their horn.
Yeah.
And then some of these games, it was so cold out, so like everyone, and then like they're like, "Oh, sorry, too bad." And then like, yeah, these kids don't know anymore. They can just download their game. You don't have to leave the house.
Yeah.
Again, guys, we could talk about this forever, but my PC is having a night.
It's about time too.
It is. It's
9:30. We started a little late, closer to 8:30. So
we can honestly go again if this is a popular topic. We'll bring it up again because I had a lot of fun. Because we get into like specific teams and specific like ways to play it. We can go on and on. But
I'll leave you guys on this. If you're kind of like esports sound kind of cool, but like I'm not really that into competitive video game. Matt mentioned it earlier. Go look up the Justin Wong comeback. That is a great example of how exciting games can be.
Absolutely. That's a great way to end it. Look up Justin Wong, Never Give Up, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
So we'll leave you guys on that. Well, thank you guys for joining us here. Episode 5 of the Fruit Snack Attack podcast. This video will go up next Wednesday. I haven't talked to Zach about this yet, but I think we're going to try to do another Mario Kart next Wednesday as well. So you got the video in the morning. We'll be streaming
I'm going to try to sneak in a stream or two.
Perfect. Hey, follow us. Follow us on all social medias. It's our best way to get notifications from us when we go live on any of these things. But we honestly are having a blast doing this, so we're going to keep doing it.
Yeah. Pop by most Wednesdays around 8:30. We'll either likely be doing this or some sort of Mario Kart or something.
Yeah,
if we can't do Mario Kart one week, I'll try to jam something out.
Bingo. Yeah, like right now, until as I work on my PC, it's gonna be stuck to kind of some like console games. But I'm just trying to think of a way to get a lot of friends involved. And Mario Kart seems to be like the way right now. But we'll work on some more stuff. But for now, it's gonna.
If you guys want to hear some shit talking, me, Matt, and Garrett shit talk the shit out of each other.
Yeah,
Played some Mario Kart.
Absolutely. So thanks again, guys. We'll see you real soon. But until then, have yourself a good night.